Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudhiraya Nistaprayeshu Babadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki. We're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, chapter number 10. The Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions.
我们今天继续的来阅读圣典佛家法坛第2篇第10章。佛家法坛回答了所有的问题。
Text number 14.
诗节14。
Adidaivam Atadhyatman Adibhutam Iti Prabhu Ataikam Purusham Viryam Tri Abhidyato Tri Abhidyata Tachrina Adidaivam Atadhyatmam Adidaivam Atadhyatmam Adibhutam Iti Prabhu Adibhutam Iti Prabhu Etaikam Purusham Viryam Ataikam Purusham Viryam Trid Abhyata Tachrina Tri Abhyata Tachrina Adidaivam Atadhyatmam Adibhutam Iti Prabhu Ataikam Purusham Viryam Tri Abhidyata Tachrina Adidaivam Atadhyatmam Adibhutam Iti Prabhu Ataikam Purusham Viryam Tridab Adidyata Tachrina
आदिभूतमिति प्रभु अनैकं पौरुषं वीर्यं त्रिधा व्यत्यता तच्छृणु
Mataji, Adidaivam, the controlling entities.
负责控制的生物。
Ata, now.
现在
Adhyatmam, the controlled entities.
被控制的生物。
Adibhutam, the material bodies.
物质身体。
Iti, thus.
如此。
Prabhu, the Lord.
主。
Atha, in this way.
以这种方式。
Ekam, one only.
唯一的一位。
Purusham, of his lordship.
至尊主。
Viryam, potency.
能量。
Tridha, in three.
一分为三。
Avidyata, divided.
划分。
Tat, that.
那。
Shrinu, just hear from me.
请听我说。
Translation. Just hear from me how the potency of the Lord divides one into three, called the controlling entities, the controlled entities, and the material bodies of material bodies in the manner mentioned above.
译文，请听我告诉你，至尊主是怎样把他的能量一分为三，按前面所谈的分为负责控制的生物、被控制的生物和物质躯体。
There's no purport. We'll read the next verse. From the sky situated within the transcendental body of the manifesting Mahavishnu, sense energy, mental force, and bodily strength are all generated, as well as the sum total of the fountainhead of the total living force.
世界15译文，从处在马哈维什努超然体内的天空产生出感官能量、心意、体力和总体生命力。
There is no purport. We'll read text number 16. As the followers of a king follow their Lord, similarly, when the total energy is in motion, all other living entities move. And when the total energy stops endeavoring, all other living entities stop sensual activities.
世界16译文，就像军房的追随者跟随他们的主人一样，整体能量一动，所有其他的生物体便动起来。整体能量一旦停止活动，所有其他的生物体便停止感官活动。
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The individual living entities are completely dependent on the total energy of the Supreme Purush. No one has independent existence, just as no electric lamp has independent effulgence. Each and every electrical instrument depends fully on the total powerhouse. The total powerhouse depends on the reservoir of water for generating electricity. Water depends on the clouds. The clouds depend on the sun. The sun depends on creation. And the creation depends on the movement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all causes.
要指个体生物完全依赖至尊主宰的总体能量，正如电灯在没有电的情况下不可能发光。世上没什么是独立存在的，所有的电器都完全依靠发电厂的供电来运作。发电厂依靠水库储存的水才能发电，水的储存依靠能下雨的云朵，云朵的形成需要太阳光芒的照射，太阳是被创造出来的，而创造有赖于至尊和守神的活动，因此至尊人和守神是一切原因的起因。
Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Tadaki Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yaka Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupa Sarajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Nitamsya Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bharevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasati Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We're hearing Sukadeva Goswami describe to Maharaj Parikshit about the process of creation.
现在我们听到舒克贝郭萨米向 Parikshit Maharaj 描述了创造的过程。
He's explaining to us how this cosmic manifestation appears.
他现在向我们描述了这个展示是如何形成的。
So we have to understand how the potency of the Lord is behind this whole cosmic manifestation.
我们听到了，在整个的物质宇宙展示之背后是有着至尊主的能量在那里。
Of course, people in the world today are often atheistic and they think that there's no cause behind the world.
现在的人都是无神论者，他们认为在这个世界背后没有神。
They will simply worship and they'll simply see the world itself as being a combination of elements which came by chance.
他们以为这个世界呢是偶然的，是各种物质元素组合起来的。
In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna describes two natures. There is the Sura Sampad and Asuric Sampad, the divine nature and the demoniac nature.
在国教梵歌主描述了有神圣的本性和邪恶本性。
So the demonic nature is to think that there is no God behind this world, that it's just a creation of chance.
邪恶本性的人就认为，在这个宇宙背后没有主，一切都是偶然发生的。
They think the world is unreal.
他们认为这个世界是不真实的。
But at the same time, they're very expert to enjoy the world.
但是他们又特别擅长享受这个世界。
They try their best to satisfy their material senses.
他们想尽各种方法来满足自己的感官。
So the Lord Sukadeva Goswami is explaining here how the whole creation comes about under the will of the Supreme Lord.
舒克德古萨比在这里描述说，一切都是依照至尊主的意愿是发生的。
There's the original potency of the Supreme Lord.
至尊主他有最原初的能量。
In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Maya Dyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam Hetunanena Kuntiya Jagat Viparivartate. Lord Krishna is saying, this material nature moves under my direction, O son of Kunti.
Krishna 说，昆提之子啊，这个物质自然在我的指挥下运作。
And it is producing all moving and non-moving beings.
它产生出一切动与不动的生物。
So everything is under the control of the Supreme Lord. It is not independent.
万事万物都依赖着至尊主，它不是独立的。
Just like the shadow moves under the control of the object.
就像影子它随着伴随着物体而运动。
If the object is not moving, the shadow will not move.
如果实体不动的话，影子也不动。
So the material nature moves like that, a shadow under the control of the Supreme Lord.
所以物质自然呢，就像如影随形。
Lord Brahma describes in the Brahma Samhita, Shrishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Saptareka Chayaiva Yashya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga Echanurupamapi Yashya Chatestate Sa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Lord Brahma has described how the material nature moves under the direction of the Supreme Lord.
主 Brahma 就描述说，物质自然是如何在主的指挥下运作的。
The material nature personified by Mother Durga.
物质自然的人格化身就是多个母亲。
So Lord Brahma says the creating, maintaining, and annihilating deity of the mundane world is worshipped by people in the form of Durga.
主 Brahma 说，就这个物质宇宙创造、维系和毁灭的这个能量，是人们把它作为多个母亲来作为崇拜。
But Durga moves like a shadow under the control of the Supreme Lord Govinda.
而这位多个母亲就像影子一样，是在主Govinda的指挥下运作。
So the material nature is not independent.
物质自然不是独立的，
It's under the control of the Supreme Lord.
它在至尊主的控制之下。
But if we don't care to surrender to the Lord, then we simply try to deny that there's such a person.
如果我们不努力臣服，我们就会否认有这样一个人存在。
So Krishna consciousness is to bring us to the position of taking shelter of the Supreme Lord.
Krishna 的知觉运动呢，就是让我们达到臣服至尊主的层面。
Just like Mother Durga, she's under the control of the Supreme Lord.
就像多个母亲就是在至尊主的控制之下。
And this was realized by Srila Vyasadeva. When Srila Vyasadeva, after taking instruction from Narada Muni, sat down in meditation, then he saw the Supreme Lord and the material energy.
而维亚萨贝鲁他亲自证悟到这一点。当他得到纳拉穆尼的指示之后呢，他坐在那里冥想，于是他便冥想出这一幕。
And the material energy was under the full control of the Supreme Lord.
物质能量是完全处在至尊主的控制之下。
So this is the relationship between the Lord and the material world.
这便是至尊主和物质世界之间的关系。
We have to submit ourselves to the Supreme Lord and engage in His service.
我们必须要臣服至尊主，从事为他服务。
The material nature is the separated energy of the Lord.
物质本性，物质自然是与主分离的能量。
Lord Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhumer apo nalo vayu kamano buddhir evacha ahankara iti yame bina prakritir ashtada. Bina prakritir ashtada, that this material nature has 8 features and it is separated from the Lord.
这个物质自然它由8种元素构成，它是与主分离的物质能量。
Right? There is the earth, water, fire, air, ether. There is the mind, the intelligence, and the false ego.
这8种元素分别是土、水、火、空气、以太、心理、智性、假自我。
So this is the separated energy of the Lord.
这是与主分离的能量。
Just like a woman may have a husband, but she may be separated from him.
就像一位女子，她可能有丈夫，但是她可能与丈夫分居了。
So the relationship is not very intimate or sweet.
所以这种关系呢，并不很亲密，也并不是很甜蜜。
In the same way, the Lord has the material energy. It's the prakriti, the energy of the Lord.
同样的，主他有他的物质能量，是prakriti，
But it's separated from Him. He's not so much inclined by it.
但这种能量和主是分离的，所以主对他呢，并不是很钟爱。
But at the same time, He will make use of the material energy to create this whole material world for the enjoyment of the conditioned souls.
但是主与此同时，他利用了整个物质能量来创造物质世界，来以供受体做享乐。
The material world is created so that we can live out our illusion of being the supreme enjoyer.
而这个物质世界之所以被创造出来，是让我们在这里尽情的，让我们在这里，按照我们的幻象，作为至尊的享乐者，在这里居住。
We are thinking we are the enjoyer. We are thinking this world is for our pleasure.
我们自以为是享受者，觉得这个世界是为了我们的快乐而在那里。
So the Lord creates this world so that we can live out we can just simply live through our karmic reactions.
所以主便创造了这个世界，好让我们能够把
But he also arranges that this world can be the place where we can reform, where we can give up our rebellious nature, and where we can submit to the Lord.
但是主也确保我们这个世界就是一个劳改营，我们在这里能够改掉我们的反抗的本性。
So there are two reasons. One is to let people try to enjoy the material world, and the other reason is to let people get out from this material world.
有两个原因，一个是让身体在这里去享受，一个是让他们能够脱离这个物质世界。
And so we have to understand how the Lord is the cause of everything.
我们要明白主是万事万物的原因。
As Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport here, everything comes from the Supreme Lord.
圣帕帕格在要旨当中解释说，一切都是来自于至尊主。
Prabhupada gives the example about the electricity comes from the powerhouse.
帕帕格举的例子是说，电是从发电厂产生的。
And Prabhupada is talking about how the water is being used to produce electricity.
而帕帕格接着解释说，而水是产生电力的原因。
Sometimes they will use tidal power, the waves coming from the sea. There's a lot of energy there that can also be used to generate electricity.
有的时候人们也利用这个海潮来发电。
Of course, nowadays they have also atomic energy. They split the atoms to get power.
现在呢也有核电力，他们把原子给分裂以创造发电。
And you have coal-fired power stations sometimes.
有时候还有煤电厂。
And other times it will be oil, which is used to generate electricity.
还有的时候他们使用石油发电。
So there are many different ways in which electricity is generated.
所以有各种各样的发电的方法。
But it all depends on natural resources which are provided by the grace of the Lord.
而这个资源都是由于主的仁慈而提供的。
Prabhupada talks about the water, that the water is coming from the clouds.
帕帕格说，水是从云朵而产生的。
And the clouds are the creation of the Supreme Lord.
而云朵是由至尊主所创造。
And so ultimately the Lord is the cause of everything.
所以终极而言呢，主是万事万物的原因。
Whether we use oil or coal or water or heat to generate electricity, it's all coming by the grace of the Lord.
无论我们使用煤、水、油或者是热量，这都是由主来产生的。
Right? Nowadays, like a country like Malaysia, they don't have winter. They have every day a lot of sunshine, so they can use solar energy. They have solar panels to collect the rays from the sun, and they use that to generate electricity.
在马来西亚呢，没有冬季，他们就大量的使用了太阳能，他们使用这个太阳能的发电板来收集热量，来产生这个能量。
So it's by the grace of the Lord that the sun is shining every day.
其实至尊主的仁慈，太阳每天在发光。
And that we simply enjoy the resources which are provided by the Supreme Lord.
我们只是在这里享受着由至尊主提供的能源。
So this is described in Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna says, Apariyamitas tvanyam prakritim vidime param jiva bhuta mahabaho yeyedam daryate jagat. Lord Krishna describes that there's another energy of his which are all living entities.
就奎什纳在这个世界说，除此之外，他还有另外一个由全体生物构成的能量。
So there are two kinds of energy, two prakriti. There is the para prakriti and apara prakriti. One prakriti has consciousness and one prakriti has no consciousness.
有两类 prakriti， 一个是低等的 prakriti， 还有一个是高等的 apara prakriti。
So we're the living entities, we're the superior Prakriti because we have consciousness.
我们生物体是高等的 property， 因为我们是有知觉的。
But we have a problem. The problem is we're thinking the resources, the material nature, the inferior Prakriti is simply there for our own enjoyment.
但是我们有一个问题，我们的问题就是我们认为这个低等的property 低等的资源是为了我们享受而存在的。
And because we're thinking like that, that's why we get so many troubles in the material world.
因为我们有这个错误的想法，于是便在物质世界遇到了种种的麻烦。
As Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mami Vamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Buddha Sanatana Manashastani Indriyani Prakriti Stani Karshati. That we're all eternally parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord.
这个世界的意思是说，我们是至尊主的永恒的所属部分。
But due to conditioned life, we're struggling very hard with the senses and the mind.
但是由于受条件限制的生命，我们以六感官和心意在内，苦苦的在挣扎着。
Prakriti Stani Karshati. Karshati means trouble. We're getting a lot of trouble. Why are we getting trouble? Because we're trying to exploit the resources of the material nature.
Karshati 的意思是麻烦，为什么遇到麻烦呢？因为我们在试图剥削这个主的这低等能量。
We take the oil from the land, we drill out oil from the land and from the sea, and they will use that oil for our own sense gratification.
我们从大地、从海洋当中赚取石油，来供自己的感官享乐。
We will use whatever is given, whatever we find on this planet, we think is all for our own enjoyment.
我们在这个星球上，我们把找到的一切都提供来为自己享受。
But when we think like that, we can never be peaceful.
如果我们有这种想法，是永远不能得到平和。
In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna describes the proper consciousness in order to be peaceful.
在佛家梵歌当中，主 Krishna 描述了平和的知觉。
He says, Bhoktaram yagna tapasham sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam ham shantim richati. That we have to understand the Lord is the proprietor.
我们要明白，主是至高无上的拥有者。
The word Maheshwar, the one who is proprietor of everything.
Maheshwar 他是万事万物的拥有者。
And all the austerities and penances which we do, all the sacrifices are meant to be done for His pleasure.
我们所做的一切苦行、祭祀，
And we should understand that He is our best friend.
我们应该为了他的快乐去做苦行、献祭、布施，而他是我们最好的朋友。
So when we think like that, then we can be actually peaceful.
只有这种想法能让我们感到平和。
But when we're thinking, this is mine, this belongs to me, I want to get more, I need more, then we will never be peaceful.
如果我们想这是我的，我还想要更多，那永远不会平和。
So we have to control the mind and the senses.
所以我们要控制感官，控制心意。
We have to come to understand our actual position.
我们需要理解我们真正的地位。
That we're not the Ishvara, but we are the Prakriti. We're under the control of the Supreme.
我们不是伊什瓦尔，我们是 Prakriti， 是在主的控制之下。
And we're meant to engage in His service.
我们应该是为他做服务。
And when we work in cooperation with the Lord, with the plan of the Lord, then we will be happy.
当我们按照主的计划和他合作，就会快乐。
But if we are listening only to our mind and the demands of our senses, then we will never be happy.
如果我们听从我们的心意和感官，那永远不会平和快乐。
All right, any questions, comments? Yes? Jaja.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, you were saying devotional service should be pleasing to Krishna. How do I understand? You were saying devotional service should be pleasing to Krishna. So how do I understand sometimes the activities of the demons also please Krishna? Are their activities also pleasing to Krishna? How do I understand their activities? 我的问题是，因为我们知道奉爱服务，它需要去取悦 Krishna 的。那我们如何理解有的时候一些恶魔他们的活动，也是取悦 Krishna 的
No, of course the demons will not be pleased with, Krishna will not be pleased with the activities of the demons.
Krishna 不会为恶魔的活动对他们活动感到满意。
You have to understand this material world is a prison house, and there's a lot of rebellious souls here in this world.
这个物质世界就好比是一个监狱，在这里呢居住的是那些有反抗精神的灵魂。
They're simply planning for their own sense gratification.
他们在为自己的感官享乐做着谋划。
And so all of their endeavors, all of the activities which they do, they just simply create a hellish situation in the world.
他们的所作所为就给这个世界就带来了地狱般的环境。
They're engaged in acts which are called ugra karma. Ugra karma means activities which will destroy the world.
他们从事的是 ugra karma， 就从事的是意在毁灭世界的活动。
They do things like create nuclear weapons to kill people.
他们制造出核武器、原子武器来杀人。
The modern science is all about how to kill people better, kill more people, and conquer more people.
现代科学家他们就在制造出能够杀死更多大规模的杀伤性武器。
They don't develop things to save lives, but they develop things to end life.
他们并没有发展出来拯救生命的这些设施，反而是毁灭生命的这些武器。
And they kill one species after another.
而且地球的物种呢，一个一个的就濒临灭绝了。
Sometimes they're killing the whale, the fish in the sea, they're killing the whales, sometimes they're killing the people.
他们是杀死海洋当中的鲸鱼、鱼类，有时候他们也杀死人类。
The whole demonic civilization is just simply with that mentality that whoever is my enemy, I will have him killed.
所以整个现代的文明就建立在这种邪恶的心态，谁是我的敌人，我就杀死他。
And the demonic nature is described in Bhagavad Gita in the Ishwaraham Aham Bogi. I am the controller and I am the enjoyer.
我是享受者，我是控制者。
Siddhoham, I am perfect.
我是完美的。
Balavam, I am strong.
我是强大有力的。
Sukhi, I am happy.
我是快乐的。
This is the Asuric mentality. They think like this.
这是邪恶的心态，他们有这种想法。
Asatyam apratishtamte jagadahur anishwaram. They're thinking there's no God in control.
他们认为没有控制的这位神明。
And this world is unreal.
这世界是不真实的。
So just enjoy.
享受吧。
But of course, if it's unreal, how can you enjoy something which is not real?
那如果不真实的，你怎么去享受这个不真实的世界呢？
But this is the demonic nature. They think like that.
这个邪恶本性的人就这样想。
They do not know what is cleanliness and what morality is.
他们不 知道清洁是为何物，什么是道德，
They have no standards,
他们没有标准，
but they simply want to satisfy the senses.
他们就一味的想要满足自己的感官。
So certainly these people are not pleasing to Lord Krishna.
毫无疑问，这些人是不能让主
And
Krishna 感到满意，
that's why Krishna brings them to this world.
所以 Krishna 把他们带到这个世界上。
Well, actually they bring themselves by their own demonic nature. They bring themselves into this world.
实际上，他们是因为他们自己的邪恶本性，把自己带到这里面。
And they will enter into lower species of life.
他们也将进入低等的生命种族，
And they will take birth repeatedly in demonic species of life.
他们会反复的投生在低等的物种当中。
Repeatedly, they'll take birth in bodies like snakes and crocodiles and nasty, ferocious beasts which live completely in the mode of ignorance.
他们会彻底的投生在像蛇、鳄鱼、凶猛的野兽，反复的投生在这样的低等的物种当中。
So, the people who have this mentality, they get the results of that mentality. The result is they enter into demonic species of life, birth after birth.
有这种邪恶心态的人，他们会生生世世投生在这样低等的物种当中。
So material world is for them, it's created for them.
所以物质世界就是为了这些人创造的。
But I said the material world is also created to help people get out of this material place and go back to Godhead.
但是我刚才在讲课当中也说到，物质世界创造出来是为了把这些人从物质世界带出来，回到神手那里。
That we can reform ourselves, we can change our nature. Those who are demoniac can become saintly.
我们可以洗心革面，从物质邪恶本性变成神圣的本性。
Those who are nityabada, eternally conditioned souls, can become nityasiddha. They can become liberated souls.
那些 Nitya Bada 永恒受限的灵魂，可以变成 Nitya Siddha 永恒解脱的灵魂。
They have to get the association of devotees. They have to hear about transcendental knowledge.
他们需要和奉献者们联谊，聆听超然知识，
Then they can be changed.
然后就可以改变。
But then Maharaj, how should I understand? I was reading the book of Gaur Govinda Swami, and Maharaj was saying in his book, sometimes like when Krishna wants to fight, he would create an opponent to fight with. Is it not also some sort of like devotional service to Krishna?
If somebody fights Krishna,
When Krishna wants to fight, he would create like an opponent to fight with. Is it also not some sort of service to Krishna? 但是我在读一个奉献者书 Gaur-Govinda Swami 的时候，他在书中会讲到，当 Krishna 想打仗的时候，或者想打架的时候，他就会创造一个对手和他来作战。所以这种情况下，对方是不是在做一些对 Krishna 的服务呢？
well, in some cases, there are some cases like Jai and Vijay, who were gatekeepers in Vaikuntha. So they came to the material world, they took birth 3 times as demons just to fight with Krishna. That was for the pleasure of the Lord.
就像某些情况下，像白根的他们人斋为斋啊，他们就来到物质世界，就和主来进行打架。
So the Lord, He likes to fight. He likes but nobody in the spiritual world will fight with the Lord because they're all His pure devotees. So the Lord arranges sometimes to send His pure devotees into the material world to take birth as demons, and in that way they're able to fight Him. And the Lord relishes this opportunity to fight.
主他也有战斗精神，但是在灵性世界都是奉献者，没有人跟他战斗，所以他就安排他的纯粹奉献者来到物质世界，来以这种战斗精神的跟他 对打。
So there are special cases, very rare, where great devotees will come here and fight with the Lord.
所以有特殊的情况之下，纯粹的奉献者来到这个世界和主来对决。
But it's not that all the demons who fight with Krishna are his devotees.
但并不是所有跟 Krishna 战斗的恶魔都是他的奉献者。
But certainly those demons who are killed by Krishna, they're very fortunate. They get special mercy.
但是那毫无疑问，那些被 Krishna 杀死的恶魔都是幸运的，得到他的仁慈。
That some Krishna may take them to the spiritual world. He will liberate them.
Krishna 会让他们获得解脱，回到灵性世界。
So demons like Putana, she was taken to the spiritual world to be one of Krishna's nurses.
像布萨拿这样的女巫就回到灵性世界做她的奶妈。
And her brother Agathura also, he got to go to the spiritual world.
他的兄弟阿嘎也回到灵性世界。
Pondraka, he was another demon. He had extra arms put on his body. He wanted to show that he was actually Vishnu. So Lord Krishna killed him, but he liberated him to the spiritual world, gave him a spiritual body.
碰着他把那多余的2只臂膀站在自己的身上，想让自己变成威什奴的样子，就被 Krishna 所杀，结果他也去了灵性世界。
But usually the demons killed by Krishna, they will enter to the Brahmajyoti. They go into the impersonal Brahman. They don't go back to Godhead.
通常被 Krishna 杀死的恶魔会去泛光，他们不会回到神手身边。
So that's the result of their demonic nature.
这是他们邪恶本性的结果。
They get impersonal liberation.
他们得到是非人格的解脱。
Yes, Yashodhini has a question.
感恩这个讲课，我想问，就是您在讲课中提到了一个，就是这个世界是劳改营，改掉我们反叛的本性。那么就是在心理学上来讲，我的问题就是说，在心理学上有3个反叛期，这说就是2、3岁、6到8岁和12到18岁。那么如果孕育Krishna知觉的孩子，父母从怀孕开始就给孩子一个Krishna知觉的成长环境，是不是就没有这个反叛期和这个逆反的这个情况和心态出现？
You mentioned that this world is a place to reform those prisoners. May I ask that during the growth of a child, in the 2 to 3 and 4 to 10 and 11 to 18 years old, there is the period the child will be very rebellious. If the children was born in a Krishna conscious environment provided by the parents, so may I ask, so although there are the psychological period of whether or not the children will not be rebellious anymore if they are grown up in a Krishna conscious environment by the parents.
Well, everything depends on association. If you're able to give your child nice association, devotee association, then they can grow up to be Krishna conscious.
如果一切都是取决于联谊，如果给孩子一个奉献者的联谊，他们就会在 Krishna 知觉当中成长。
Sometimes parents, they want their child to be devotees, but the parents themselves are not devotees. So the example has to come from the parents.
有时候父母一心希望孩子是奉献者，但他们自己就不是奉献者，所以他们自己本身要树立一个榜样。
The mother and father They may like that their child would be a devotee, but if they don't chant Hare Krishna, they don't worship Krishna, you can't expect the child will be so easy made into a devotee. It doesn't happen.
父母一心希望孩子做奉献者，但如果他们不唱诵 Hare Krishna， 不崇拜 Krishna， 但孩子不可能成为奉献者。
And sometimes also the parents, they come very late to Krishna consciousness and they want to change everything, and by that time the child is already conditioned to material life, and they try to change the child doesn't want to change.
有的父母呢，进入 Krishna 知觉的时候年纪已经大了，然后他们的孩子呢已经成型了，所以他们就很难改变。
There was one family, the mother and father, they became devotees, but their son didn't want to be a vegetarian, didn't want to stop eating meat.
曾经有一对奉献者夫妻，父母都是奉献者，但是他们的儿子就是不想变成素食者。
He's already accustomed to eating meat, he didn't want to change.
他已经习惯了荤食，所以不想放弃肉食。
It's not an easy thing to bring a child up to be a devotee of Krishna.
把孩子抚养成 Krishna 的奉献者不是容易的事情。
Many people have told me the difficulties they have trying to make bring their children up to be devotees.
有许多父母就向马儿诉说，把孩子变成奉献者，他们多么困难。
But we try our best, do what you can.
我们尽自己所能。
Any other question?
还有其他问题吗？
Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.